Happy Earth Day to you. Happy Earth Day to you. Happy Earth Day, dear Earth. Happy Earth Day to you. Oh,
that was smooth.
Happy Earth Day, Sam.
That was smooth. Happy Earth Day.
Thank you. Even though
it
it's
is
technically tomorrow for us and for everyone listening in the past.
Yeah.
The
but
struggle
you
of
can
the
celebrate.
monthly.
You celebrate birthdays all the time.
Yeah.
And
I
Earth
certainly
Days
celebrate my
all
birthday.
the time, not on the day
every day.
of. Every day. You should treat yourself right like that.
Yeah.
Just like we should treat the Earth.
We should treat the Earth well. Well, welcome, Shufflers, to our Earth Day episode where my pod shuffle saves the environment.
Yes.
One podcast. Not one podcast at a time. Just one podcast.
One water bottle at a time. Yeah, this is it. After this, we no longer care about the Earth or what
That's not
happens.
true.
So
I like to believe that this podcast will go down in history as the turning point.
it could. Imagine this is the
our
one that
world.
goes viral. Out of all the ones that we've put all this work
and
into.
efforts. We were
It's
taking
this
this
one.
episode the most seriously, though, in my opinion.
The most time
The
was
most.
put into this
Yes, this was
For
not a
sure.
last-minute
Nope.
podcast at all.
one. Nope.
We're here to save the environment, so
Yeah.
put on the Lorax into your VHS tape, and let's solve environmentalism.
Yes,
let's
yes,
solve
sir.
it. Let's get
single-handedly.
environmental.
Let's get environmental.
It's all in here. Not really, kind of. All right, let's
well,
go.
there's something in there.
Let's roll music. All right.
You may notice how I have a stand, and
I don't.
it's because I stand for this Earth of ours, and Alex just.
I'm just out here saving material costs, not using useless pieces when my own body can do enough
Yeah,
for me.
you actually got me with that one.
Nice.
No, we're just testing it out.
All right, so first question. This is the first question that came to mind to me when I thought about environmentalism. It is simply 3 words. What is composting?
I was gonna say, wait, composting is 1 word. So what are the 3 words? 3 words. Composting.
All right, that's your answer.
Yeah.
Let's dive into what composting is. We're gonna start off with some education for you shufflers, and then we'll get into the real problem solving.
Yeah, the real problem. Compost, it's down. It's low tier. No, I feel like composting is surprisingly interesting, but you
Nerd.
know, you guys might be all bored with it. But basically, it's as easy as going outside, taking a dump in your garden.
What?
That's it. That's composting.
Oh, that's.
No,
I feel like maybe back in the old days.
That's what you think, though.
That's what I think. It's just poop,
Yeah,
and
just
then it's
just
recycled.
manure.
Yeah,
I feel
thrown
like
into
that's
your
what everybody
yard.
thinks it is.
it smells bad, but it
Yeah.
helps the grass grow.
Yeah.
That's what I thought composting was as a child, for sure.
Yeah, that's what I thought for at least 18 years. So now I have done some research. We both went to CU Boulder.
Sco buffs.
Boulder is known kind of for pushing composting. They do have different bins for, there's one for composting, one for trash, one for recycle. You don't really see that, I feel like, in most places, but I personally used it all the time. Perfectly. What about you, Alex?
So at Boulder there are 3 cans. It's compost, recycle, and actually it's landfill is the 3rd bin, not trash. They're really trying to rebrand the idea of trash. Like, there's no trash, it's landfill, recycle, and compost. And it was a culture shock when I went to Boulder. I saw 3 trash cans, all different colors, green, blue, and black, and was like, all right, I don't know what's going on here. I think this is a liberal town, and I don't know what's happening.
I'm scared.
I'm scared. Teach me. But above, I don't know if this was at the beginning or if this was always there, but there's a sign above all the trash cans that say what parts can go into what. So I feel like it's pretty foolproof to not mess it up. But then again, in Boulder, we're talking about college students who I don't think have a great track record for following directions.
It is a little intimidating going up to it, I feel like, because you have your thing, your friends that you're going up there with, and you're just, it's like a video game where you're trying to sort out everything.
Yeah.
And then you put it in the wrong one, and you get an and then it's like, oh gosh.
Could you imagine the future when you just get shamed when you drop the wrong
yeah,
piece
it
of trash
scans it and it knows.
Yeah.
You idiot.
Well,
Why
that was
did you do
always
that?
the thing I thought was I am certain that people mess this up all the time. So how efficient are these things if you mess up? Because I always thought, like, if you mess up one, it's, ruins the whole batch. So did you do any of your research come across?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. There definitely is a lot that ends up going to landfill, the dump, le trash, le dump. I don't remember like what percentage, and I'm not gonna try to quote it because otherwise I'm gonna get yelled at. But there is definitely like, yeah, that does happen. I mean, I feel like the one that I think of a lot is pizza boxes and all the grease that's inside of it. It's like, oh well, cardboard, it's recyclable,
right?
But if there's grease on it, then it's just unusable, and then it ends up going to landfill anyway. So,
Dang.
Yeah.
So no, I'm all about composting. I've actually started to do it in my house, my apartment's little room that I'm trying to do. Recycle and all the things because we have bins for each of them in Englewood.
Okay,
so
nice.
it makes it easier just having those options. So yeah, I did see you put a picture of the list,
I did.
of the
The
pictorial
list.
that they put above the trash bins, and
It's surprising.
there's an amendment.
There's been an amendment.
There's an amendment
Since Donald Trump took office. No, I'm kidding. No,
I
didn't say that.
I don't know what conspiracy.
No,
but apparently, compostable plates and cups and compostable utensils are no longer
cannot be compostable. That would, like, my mind.
What
is
happened there?
Being blown constantly. Because here's one of the things. This diagram that we're looking at specifically is for Boulder.
Boulder, right?
So
not the
it was
worldwide.
amended at some point, but in the dining halls that we ate at, we have some cups that are labeled as biodegradable. We're like, oh, like Boulder's so cool
so good.
and modern and forward thinking, and so you put those, like, those ones are easy enough with the labels to put in the right thing, and then after all this time, to find that maybe it didn't matter at all for that somehow. This amendment, I don't know why that is specifically, but like any of that kind of stuff, any of the utensils, like no paper products, and then the pizza box example is on here as well, as like the new no longer accepted in compost that maybe were before.
Yeah, that's sad.
It's very interesting.
I don't know how long it's been since you went to the C4C, which was our campus dining hall. Do they still do real plates? I assume they do. Real plates that you go and you then put it in the wash, and they have washers.
Last I knew.
To me, I feel like that's tried and true efficiency of recycling, just having the same utensils, and there's water, and I don't know the numbers on it. See, our research is really showing here how many times
it really
say,
is. This is
we
all
don't know the
hypothetical
numbers.
guessing games. Like, we're so uninformed. Yeah, I would like to think that, like, if you had biodegradable paper plates that were compostable or recyclable, compare that to just, making a plate once, and then the water used to wash that over and over.
Yeah.
It's got to be less.
It's got to be
less waterways. In
fact, it is.
Source, trust us.
Yeah, we should do a podcast where we go back and just fact check ourselves.
Fact check every statement.
Wrong.
That would be pretty good, actually. This one will be the focus of that episode for sure.
Yeah, we're trying to get away from the
Listen,
numbers.
we're looking at diagrams, though. These diagrams do not lie. The things that are acceptable. I'll list out some things that are acceptable.
Yeah, what
kind of things that you would think about. Food scraps. I feel like there is some contention about meat, whether or not that can be used for compost. I think it depends on the context. But on here, it looks like there's this chicken wing scrap that's left over, apples, eggshells, coffee grounds and beans, no filter, and any like plant trimmings, like any just dead vegetation. So that kind of makes sense.
Okay.
So yeah,
I'll keep reading from the other
acceptable
list that you sent me. So yeah, grass clippings, garden trimmings, scraps, eggshells. That's an interesting one. Specifically calling out eggshells. I guess that was
that one keeps coming up. Yeah.
Tea bags. like the bags that hold tea, not just the tea, but the tea bags. That was interesting. It's compostable.
Yeah.
And everyone's favorite topic. The last one on the list is manure. Now, on the list you sent me specifically, it says plant eaters only manure. So what's the animal that only eats vegetables called?
Herbivore.
I was going to call them vegetarians.
Wait a minute. I feel like, yeah.
That kind of works. It could have worked, though. Yeah, it just says manure, plant eaters only. So I thought, so I guess me and you, we had Raising Cane's right before this. Our manure would not be suitable.
It would not be suitable, so you will not be
However,
finding.
A couple weeks ago, when I was vegan for Lent, I was a plant eater.
Shout out.
So my manure
temporary herbivore.
So temporary, interim.
Interim herbivore.
So I guess vegan manure is allowed.
Is okay. Everybody.
Good to know.
If
if you're vegan, your manure can contribute.
We will be contacting you shortly.
Join our mailing list.
I will say though that this list, or the second list that I have, is kind of a reference specifically for like backyard composting. So you don't have to be in Boulder or Inglewood to have one of these things. Actually, it's pretty easy to do it at home yourself.
Is it?
You can try this at home. Apparently they just give like ratios. It's a 50-50 between these two lists of things. So basically, one half is the browns, apparently carbon rich. So the dried vegetation, hay, straw, sawdust, apparently shredded paper. So I guess you could also kind of recycle shredded paper and documents that way. So throwing it away. And then on the other hand, the greens, the nitrogen rich, somehow that balances out and makes it good fertilizer. Like fresh grass clippings, not dried out, fruit and vegetable scraps, eggshells, all the other kind of things we listed before, manure. So yeah, you kind of want just that 50-50 balance apparently. And there are different techniques, which I didn't know. In my mind, you just throw it all in a pile. And then you kind of just mix it all up. And then
there's a recipe to follow.
Down. There's kind of a recipe. There's some baking going on. There's some chefery going on.
So yeah, not just your first when you're cooking your meal. There's a bunch of recipes. Now, after your food's done, it's a whole secondary.
Yes, and I think I actually don't know the timeline, but I think it's like multiple months. So you do kind of have to be committed to it.
You gotta set your timer a little longer.
You gotta set a little longer, and kind of be willing to do it. But there are certain techniques that are better for a little more hands off. So I think the main one, kind of that most people think when they think of composting, is called hot composting. So basically, you have a big container, and you put that proper mixture of things in there. Apparently, you need like a certain level of aeration, otherwise bacteria can grow.
This is a lot of work, Sam.
I know, it's a lot. But the reason it's hot.
Okay.
It's literally it's decomposing, but because it's sealed, it decomposes faster.
Makes sense.
And that's it. That's pretty much all you need to know.
Okay.
You got to make sure it's like cut up small enough.
Kind of cooking itself.
It's cooking itself. It's baking.
Look at that.
Just, think about...
Talk about energy renewal.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I don't know. Hot composting. There's also cold composting.
Okay.
And just wait till we get to lukewarm.
Ooh.
That doesn't exist. But the cold is the more lazy approach that I feel like I would definitely do.
Yeah.
Where you kind of just throw in things. I don't know what container. I think it's just like an open bin. And then more fresh like lawn clippings and things like that. And you just let it sit there. So I feel like that's kind of just like the lazy approach.
Okay.
You don't want to do, I think, like food scraps or anything as much that maybe animals will come and start picking it out of there, basically. Like they won't do that.
Start getting smelly and not ending up so well.
Yeah, if it's ever smelly, you're doing it wrong.
Okay.
I know that. I know that.
That's good to know.
If I do know one thing about composting, being the compost expert.
Okay, and then the last thing I see in here about composting is worm bin composting.
Worm bin composting. This one's the funniest one to me.
So tell me about worm bin composting.
Yes, the worm bin composting. It feels slightly creepy to me because you just have like this farm of worms that are.
That's exactly what I thought it was.
Eating your manure.
And they like help grow it.
So I think their waste becomes good fertilization. So you kind of layer it where the bottom is apparently like newspaper shreddings or like paper shreddings.
Okay.
So you have different layers. You have that layer. I think you have maybe another layer above that, but then you have the worms who go a couple layers above that. They don't usually go to the bottom, so that's how you kind of you squeeze it out basically.
Yeah.
And then you use that because none of the worms are in there. But then you just feed it like food scraps basically,
right.
And then they eat them.
And then it does the
and
work.
They poop.
It's like a little ecosystem.
And then it's like and then it balances itself out.
Yeah.
It's like if there's not enough food, they just won't reproduce as much, or you can get more worms. And then it's kind of it funnels down, and then you can get I don't know a little bit of I don't know how much it actually produces over. I think like every couple weeks you can grab from it basically.
And use it in your
using your garden,
backyard, things like that.
Right after that.
Okay.
So I don't know worm
bin
composting. That I would maybe try the other ones. I don't think I would like. It's like what is this thing you have in your backyard? Oh, those are just my worms.
Just my worms.
This is my worm farm.
My worm friends helping me make some manure for my garden.
Like, slightly creepy.
But it is cool, I will say, to be able
to
do it yourself or know how it's done. Because before all I thought is that you just throw it in a pile, right, and it just magically decomposes and becomes what it needs. But it's a lot more work than it sounds like.
Yeah, a little more work for like the good quality stuff that you actually want to.
The good stuff.
The good stuff. Growing the good stuff. It's a sea boulder. Weed reference.
It's also 420 not too long ago.
It was just 420.
Oh, man.
Uh-oh. 420 Easter is actually crazy.
Yeah, that was a wild.
That's a
little tangent, but
right
with the morning, they are doing a Red Rocks morning sunrise service for Jesus, and then at night, Wiz Khalifa is playing a rockin' 420, blazing.
Balancing it out.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
So a good time.
Culture clash. All right, we're done.
We're done with composting.
We're done.
Old
we're done
news.
Breaking down composting.
Nice.
Yeah.
We got one more segment for you until we get into our solution.
We get into our third segment. We got one more segment for you until the segment after that.
And here it comes. We're going the heroes and villains of the environment.
Ooh. Who is to blame for global warming?
We're trying to,
a single person.
A single person we're going to put all the blame on. And we're going to find some heroes. So we're going to talk about the eco-crimes and then the eco-successes.
Yes. I was trying to think of something that rhymes that's positive, crime.
Eco-minds.
Minds.
Yeah, good eco-minds.
Yes.
All right.
Good eco-minds.
Well, Sam, I'll let you take away with our eco-villain of the day.
Yes. Oh, man. I had never heard about this guy before until recently.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Thomas Midgley Jr. And I heard about him from a sermon. He was in a sermon illustration.
Okay. Was he used positively or negatively?
Horribly.
Okay.
Negatively.
Bad.
As like this is the guy responsible. So apparently there's a channel. I'm gonna pronounce it correctly because I have the phonetic that thing out for me. Veritasium. Channel Veritasium. I referenced them before as well.
Like a YouTube channel?
YouTube channel.
Okay, Veritasium.
Yeah, there's a lot of science stuff and more interesting stuff like that. So I'm going to keep referencing them like every so often because they got some good stuff. But apparently this guy was indirectly responsible for the deaths of more people ever than anybody in history because of things he did related to the environment, which is like the
most in history.
Claim. The most.
That's okay.
In history, like he's never strangled somebody.
I'm gonna have a great hero for coming after you. So let's hear it.
Yeah,
let's hear
the most people saved.
Yeah, I do. I do have that actually. So let's hear the most people.
The Clash.
the evil
who's
side.
better. See who will win.
What did he do?
So this guy did multiple things. This guy, he could
out
not
for
stop.
the
See,
human
like
race?
once you can call an accident.
Yeah.
But he definitely knew. So
Okay.
the first thing that he did, he used lead as an additive for gasoline.
I mean, it doesn't sound terrible.
It doesn't
when
sound
you just
terrible.
Start off.
But I feel like most people, like nowadays,
we know
we
lead
heard
is
about like
bad.
older houses use like lead paint, and it's like you got to be careful if you're repainting because it's like really toxic. And you would think, oh, well, this guy probably invented leaded gasoline back when they thought it was still acceptable. No, like everybody knew at the time when he did that, everybody knew it was bad for decades.
Dang.
And like people were constantly telling him, hey, don't do this.
Yeah.
Like you should not do this. You should not use lead as an additive. It was basically like a solution for, engines being more efficient at burning fuel to solve a different issue.
Got it.
And then the lead additive is what made that stop. But
Everyone knew the
it burning just essentially spreads everywhere.
Led
Led to basically like not learning disabilities, but like literally just straight up decreased intelligence for people. Like people with higher lead concentrations in their body. I think it was maybe traced by like baby teeth or something, the content there.
Interesting.
It messes with your development and you're literally just dumber.
So not only did he
Like-
kill a bunch of people through lead poisoning,
He killed,
but he made us a
did that.
bunch dumber too.
Made us really dumb.
Dang.
Made us not able to research enough
That
for
is
this episode.
not what I wanted to hear.
But also apparently like lead increases crime as well, which you would
Okay,
not think.
now we're getting to the correlation causation side. But you know what?
That's what was referenced in there. Those were the two things that were in
Crime, dumbness, and death.
there. Crime and
Gosh.
dumbness. Yeah.
This is
and
only the
death.
first thing he did. Is put
So
lead
that was
in?
the first thing. That was one
Okay.
of two. So that was
Eventually, lead got removed
pretty bad.
from stuff.
Yeah, and that's why things are labeled like unleaded gasoline.
right.
There's still I think like planes and stuff that maybe use that, but
Yeah, maybe some
Not
boat
exactly
fuel
sure.
too. Yeah.
But the other thing he did afterwards is not a coincidence. Second time, not a coincidence. The thing is called Freon. I think is maybe how it's pronounced, but it's like used for
Freon.
refrigerators, just like as a
Freeze-
refrigerant.
Freon. Okay.
Freon.
Uh-huh.
Freon. Yeah.
Just
Freon.
like a carbon-based
I don't know
some
anything
chemical.
What I do know about the chemical is that like when it is released into the atmosphere, there is a chemical reaction with ozone that destroys it. So it is one of the main things responsible
For the ozone.
I believe for the hole in the ozone layer.
Dang.
So that's pretty two pretty massive things,
Yeah.
to be honest. Although a good point though is
And
that
the ozone depletion means
Yeah.
what exactly for health?
so
It's
basically like
like sun
protective shield from the sun, from
Yep.
UV.
cancer? So skin cancer
now-
and things like that are more on a rise.
Probably I guess so.
if it's related to
I think
death.
so.
Oh man.
And then lead just spread everywhere. Ozone's destroyed.
Question
So this
is,
guy,
did he get away with it? I assume. So.
I think
with
so.
Billions of dollars in his bank account.
I think everybody was just like whatever. I don't know. But he's a villain now for
All right.
sure.
Well, I think a villain deserves
We need a hero to save.
big boo. Big boo.
Big 5 big boos.
What was his name again?
Thomas Midgley Jr.
Thomas Midgley
Thomas.
Jr.
Tommy.
Boo.
Gosh,
Tommy
dang
boy.
it.
All right. Well, my hero of the day, my
Yes.
savior for the day. His name is Norman.
Jesus.
No,
Oh.
no, no.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
yes, but also
It's
no.
Easter.
Saving
Yeah,
lives
yeah,
in
yeah.
different ways. Credited with saving the most lives in terms of environmental consequences
Good,
is
yes.
Norman Borlaug.
Norman Borlaug.
Yes, Norman Borlaug.
Yes.
He is responsible for the Green Revolution. Now, I told you about this. I'm going to quiz you. What do you think the Green Revolution did for this world?
When you first mentioned it, my mind went political immediately. The Green
course.
Party. The Green Party.
Right.
So I'm like, this guy, obviously, it can't be that. Well, I mean, I guess it could
Or
be,
like the
but
Green
it's gotta be-
Axe and things like
gotta
that.
be environmental.
It is environmental, of course. So the Green Revolution actually refers to the time when agriculture really picked up in the late middle 1900s.
Okay.
For producing food, specifically for rice and grain to feed a population that was growing at an all-time high. So the reason he's credited with helping or saving so many lives is so people didn't just die of starvation and malnutrition when we ran out of food to have in our systems and things like that. So a little bit about Mr. Borlaug is he had a bachelor in forestry and a PhD in plant pathology and genetics. So essentially what he did is he was recruited in places like India and the Philippines and even places like Mexico, where the Green Revolution kind of had its first roots, to help plants and planting rice and different types of rice to get a higher yield.
Okay.
So
plant pathology. So he knows the emotions of plants.
Exactly.
He's in their minds.
Tune. You might be considered a good friend of the plants. But really the big thing was creating something called IR8 rice, which was a rice crossing between WWJD rice and pita rice.
Okay.
Two different types of rice. This is in the Philistines. And essentially what it did is increase the annual rice production in one country alone from 3.7 to 7.7 million tons in just 2 decades, which at that time was crazy for the place,
sounds
for
crazy
growth,
now.
and all the things. So essentially without him, we wouldn't have all the Rice Krispies and all the
things that matter.
Foods.
The things, the real important things.
Well, yeah, but it's essential ingredient. So Norman Borlaug, huge hero in terms of saving lives. Not really combating any of the other stuff. So I did want to have a second sidekick to my guy, Norman.
Need some backup.
My
guy's too good.
Your guy used chemicals and energy for negative. So my sidekick today, he was actually born in 1950, so a little later, is Ashok Gadgil.
Sorry, what wasn't it?
Sorry, Ashok. Ashok. I'm going to pronounce his name Ashok today. Because that's how I want to say his name. So I don't butcher it either way.
What he did may come as a shock to you.
Aha! It actually will come to a shock because he used electric lighting and electric power to do 2 things. First, he created a UV waterworks, which disinfects water to kill pathogens in water. So once again,
plant pathology.
Pathogens. Those are
plant.
I need less.
I'm just making connections.
I don't know if that works together or not. But so he saves water, and then the second thing that he did is created more efficient lighting programs, and researched ways to utilize UV light for good. So not destroying the ozone, but using the ozone. UV.
Using UV for good.
Yeah,
that's good. So the hole that's created and all the extra UV that's getting through,
we're putting used to it.
We're harnessing for good. Make sure to wear your sunscreen,
you gotta do with what you can with what you have.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
I know what I'm saying. All right, I feel like the scales have been tipped.
Let's
a little bit more
applause. Celebration.
What was that?
No, that was a yay. They were screaming
I didn't hear that.
We'll play it again. There it is.
Oh, it's like my mind is not processing.
All the voices. So there's some good guys,
headphones.
but they can only do so much. So that's why me and you, Sam,
are
here today.
We got 2 more. I think this is my record for looking over to the camera this time. Every pun that I make, just
a little inside joke for you.
Effect.
Do you have a pun? Did you say a pun and I just missed it?
There were a couple.
Dang.
Well, the Ashok.
Ashok.
The Ashok was one of them.
That's good.
There'll be plenty more to come. So.
All right, now I'm anticipating it. So the big issues that we have to save the world are pollution, energy, and food. Those are kind of the big three that come to mind to me. Kind of all related to the big energy crises. So we're just going to kind of spitball some ideas that you shufflers can listen to and implement into your daily lives.
Yeah, I feel like maybe starting more pollution.
Okay.
Reducing the use of cars. Reduce. Reuse.
The first
recycle.
Reduce.
Reduce. Yeah, just
Big
not
on
using
that.
cars as much.
This is easy to say. I mean, the whole problem of environmental issues is that it's on such a big scale. That's a lot of the reason why things don't get done, right? It's because it's on a huge scale. So we're just going to pretend that we could do whatever we want, and I think that's the dreamer in us, that we can do it.
Yeah.
And if we got rid of cars, ideally we'd just put stuff a lot closer together.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Closer together.
Just walk around. That sounds like a great way to just...
Yeah, everywhere is a city. I mean, some places, yeah. I mean, in Europe where public transportation actually exists.
They're doing a good job out there.
Good stuff. But
America...
To be fair, I don't know. I guess, stuff might always be far. But maybe the alternate solution is just, having all electric vehicles.
Ooh.
Eventually. Like, worst case.
Ooh.
If we can't do the public transportation thing.
There are many people out there that would disagree with you about the electric vehicles. So what do you have to say to all those people?
You're probably right.
Based on our research, I don't know.
Based on the car that I have right now that's spewing
terrible gases into
it's bad.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I am a huge proponent of walking. I mean, just saving energy and walking.
Yeah.
I love walking. I think it solves a lot of my problems. Whole other podcast can go on that. But electric cars have been up and down, especially the past year. Elon Musk, Tesla, there's a lot of ups and downs going on with the electric vehicles. And so sometimes I'm not sure. Like, I should go hybrid. Should I go, I don't know. But really the thing that comes to mind to me the most whenever I think about the problem of electric cars is WWJD.
WWJD.
I mean, you hear it a lot in Christian circles.
Yeah.
It's what would Jesus drive? And that's, you heard me. It's what would Jesus drive? It's just an important part of my circular central brain system. That's the question you should ask.
You think a lot of people would disagree in that he would use electric?
I don't know. I think you could see him using electric. What are some popular electric vehicles right now? Obviously Tesla's big. So solar power's on the rise.
Solar power.
I feel like maybe a solar powered car. You know, he's the son of God. Reflects. You know, it's definitely some solar power.
That's good.
I think he could also drive like a giant 12-person passenger
12
just him at the front.
He's got to have the 12 seat.
He's at the wheel, of course.
You got to carpool with
Jesus
the apostles.
Take the wheel. 12 in the back.
Apostles.
Ejection seat for at least one of the
for one of the unnamed.
We can start calling the Judas seat in the
Judas
back.
Seat, instead of
eject.
Instead of calling shotgun, you call Judas. Oh gosh, there's some. Yeah. How about the? You know what I think he would drive?
What would Jesus drive?
Drive the Chrysler.
The Chrysler.
The Chrysler.
That's a pretty good classic.
That's a good one. All
right, I got one. He would drive the 2020 Lexus GS. Good Samaritan.
Sounds like
the GS Good Samaritan.
I was gonna say that sounds pretty normal to me.
Just throw. Or the Subaru Crosstrek. Crosstrek.
Yep.
These are all good options, right?
You got a cross right behind you.
If you're not driving one of these cars, you're not driving what Jesus would drive.
This one, okay. Just keep an open mind. You drive a Lambo.
Lamborghini.
Lamb.
Oh. The Lamb.
Oh God. The Lambo God.
The Lamb of God. Eni.
You'd be fancy.
Lamb of God Eni. That's how it's pronounced actually in Italian.
That's the original name.
What's the other car that I'm thinking of? The Porsche. The Porsche.
The Porsche. Yeah.
I don't think he'd be driving a Porsche or a Porsche.
Straight up
just
Porsche.
a Lamborghini.
Just a Lambo beanie.
Is there a car? It's like called like the Toyota Donkey.
Toyota Donkey. Yep, riding in on the with some palm leaves. Palm leaves?
Dude, it's just
palm tree leaves.
Just a Lamborghini
scattered down
with, like,
in
palm
front of him.
leaves on the side.
Yep.
Look kind of cool, actually.
I feel like you could swing that for sure.
we went down a deep rabbit hole. But yes. What would Jesus drive? Probably something eco-friendly. I think anything that would be polluting for humans, he'd be like, nah, don't do that.
Oh man, that's things would get complicated. Yeah, he might just walk. He traveling by water, he would just walk. He would not need boats.
Yeah. All right, so the answer to solving the energy crisis is we should all just walk.
We should all just walk.
Just walk everywhere.
Hear me out, though. The canes that we just had take a while to walk to there. And that's pretty close.
But hypothetically, think if we did lose all cars in a day.
Yeah.
All cars are gone.
Mm-hmm.
We have to walk everywhere.
Yep.
Kind of be a good reset, don't you think?
I mean, or even bike. We didn't even...
What if we have all the knowledge we have now, all the computers, everything, but we just don't have cars anymore? You think we'd be okay? We'd survive and maybe even thrive under those circumstances?
I think depends on
maybe
the person. I think a lot of people things would be fine.
Yeah, maybe more so in cities. When it comes large scale, then it's like we lose all our transportation.
Yeah, anybody that has to commute at all for their job, just they're unemployed.
Get a new job.
Yeah.
All right. So maybe transportation isn't where our
I think we got maybe some.
We're gonna find something that we can contribute to society. How about gardening?
Yeah, maybe some.
You got a green thumb, Sam? Not yet.
Doesn't look like it.
Here's a plant. Just rub it off there for.
Yeah, we do have the scenery decorations going on here.
You know, why do they call it a green thumb when they really should just call it a brown? I think I know why they call it. Don't call it that. I think I know now.
I think I
just had to say
etymology.
It aloud. Entomology, pathology?
The edamame.
All
the edamameology
I do love myself good
plants.
edamame. All right, gardening. Sorry. I do not have a green thumb. I don't know how to garden. A few of my friends have started to pick it up.
Yeah.
And they're really excited about it. I don't know if you have any friends that are like really into gardening, or your parents.
Yeah. My parents just like very. I don't want to say amateur as like an insult, but like amateur gardeners for like at least over a decade.
We can call them intermediate.
Intermediate gardeners.
Okay. For a decade.
Just for like a while, maybe even 15 years.
What do they like to make?
So the things
like
that
to cook up
we have right back there, nothing illegal.
Right through
nothing illegal anymore since the laws have passed. Usually tomatoes. I feel like tomatoes are something that can actually grow pretty well.
Pretty easily too. Yeah.
For us in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they get big enough as well where you can actually use them and stuff.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't like tomatoes that much unless they're like in stuff.
Yeah, me neither, unfortunately.
It was really sad.
But when you grow them yourself, I mean, it's a whole other level of taste.
Probably better.
Yeah.
Not that I've ever been brave enough to try those from our garden. I don't think.
We got to get you over that fear of tomatoes then.
Yeah, we'll see.
Tomato training.
But strawberries as well is another one that have kind of slowly infected the entire garden by spreading out. Like you think they die.
Fine by me, yeah.
And then they just spread out, and it's like, oh. But the problem with those, they're super small, and that birds just eat them all the time.
I always forget that other things like birds exist and they'll eat your stuff.
Yeah,
that's why a greenhouse, like a house, is usually probably helpful and things like that.
Yeah, little backyard greenhouse.
I forgot to mention about Norman Borlaug, but there was some controversy with him because he was actually pro-pesticide. That's also part of the reason why he was able to save and produce so many crops was pesticides.
Yep.
Granted, I don't think there's as much hatred of pesticides against maybe some other of the chemicals that your bad guy came up with.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, just something that came to mind when I thought about gardening is that.
Okay. Yeah, all natural.
I love berries. I think if I do a garden, I do a berry garden, like I don't know, raspberries or even like little small berries, not poisonous, or maybe poisonous if it comes down to it, and I need to have some poison berries.
Just try it.
That seems like actually a very useful weapon, more than guns. Just some poison berries. Leave them on your front porch. Like tell your family never eat these, but like unsuspecting burglar walks in.
I mean,
he's gonna be tempted to take some berries.
This is way too risky. And now I'm
I'll say
concerned
burglars
if you
only.
ever offer
burgers
me
bull. I can't say the word. You say it.
Burgers.
Burglars.
Burglars.
Thank you. The word just disappeared out of my vocabulary.
Purple burglars. Apparently Irish people can't say that.
I don't know where that idea came from. But I don't know.
Good idea.
I think gardening. Oh no, something's happening to my vocab.
What's happening?
Gardening is it's a hot take maybe that it's a quarter life crisis or a midlife crisis that I've seen plague
it's possible.
Many people.
It seems like something that I've never seen anybody below my age passionate about. I think.
Yeah, that's true.
So you might be right.
Unless you're taking a class on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that 30-year-old quarter life crisis they're calling it. Like a lot of people are picking up gardening. I think as a way of like meditation and peace, but also like learning that kind of stuff. But my dad, I'm gonna call him out, Dad. That he went through a phase. This was I think during COVID or earlier. I don't even remember. But there was some reason he just got really into like renewable energy. So we got we got solar panels. We got water filtration system, and we got a garden. It was an indoor garden.
Okay.
I'm trying to describe it and visualize it with my hands. It was a circle that you planted things on the bottom, and it would rotate throughout the day, and it would help with like gravity and lights and filtration of water and help things grow faster. I don't know, but it was this crazy machine. I'll show you a picture later.
It was a full-on
gardening machine.
Okay. How big was it overall?
Probably the size of like a grand piano.
Really?
Little thinner,
that's great.
but huge and white and very futuristic looking. And I don't remember if we ever actually were successful in successing
reaped the fruit.
That was when we were moving, so I don't know. That's my only experience with gardening, and then seeing friends do it.
My futuristic tech is a self-watering little garden tote that we made one time. Basically, all it is, it's pretty simple. You just get like a crate, and then the bottom layer, you have like some holes, or at some level to make sure the water doesn't go up too far. But the bottom is just water, and then you have like either a cloth or something else coming up from that, and that's how it transfers up to the next layer, which is separated. So you just have the cloth sending up the water, and then the soil's on top of that, separated from the water below.
Okay, yeah.
And then you have a pipe coming up, and that's how you refill it.
Oh.
But then there's a supply down there that's slowly being fed up through the cloth.
That sounds very useful.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember if ours worked at all. It was slightly different.
Is this the same as the garden science project you were telling me about, or?
No, that one's more something I would maybe want to do.
Okay.
This we had a couple of them at one point.
Nice.
And I'm pretty sure I either helped make it or my mom made it, and then it was mine.
Yeah.
Something like that. But it was at least pretty interesting, and also suited to me and people who do not want to water their plants every day and that kill all of their plants.
Right. And just recycle infinite water source almost. That's that's the solution. Infinite water and infinite cycles of energy, and we're gonna be fine, guys. We're gonna be all right. Just invent it.
Yeah, I don't know. So kind of, I feel like it's something that would be cool to try again.
Yeah. Okay.
Whole self-watering system. But
and so the projects you want to try,
just more, using some technology, some Arduinos and other, sensors.
Okay.
Just tracking like moisture level, and then having like a automatic pump attached to it.
Okay.
And then it would measure the moisture level.
Right.
And then it'd be like, okay, it needs to be pumped now.
You know what you could use is a Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
And to make raspberries. Plant raspberries.
And then you make a Raspberry Pi from the raspberries.
Bingo. And then
that's the full cycle.
When your family doesn't eat all of the Raspberry Pi, you
compost
the Raspberry Pi. And then there's got to be something,
and then
like a raspberry worm out there somewhere.
There's got to be something. I feel like we stopped full circle at the Raspberry Pi to Raspberry Pi.
That's
what we got. The full cycle. We got the triangle of the water cycle there. That's
like
the environment right there in a nutshell.
Like it.
Yeah, I don't know. So basically, the other thing, the exact same thing as the other self-watering one, except more expensive. And if you get it wet accidentally, then it breaks.
Yeah, just explodes.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it would be cool to do something like that in there.
All right. So let's go into some quick fire ways that we can save the environment.
Okay.
My Pod Shuffle saves the environment.
Okay.
How do you do it? Let's just go back and forth.
Okay. How do you save the environment? Just realistic, practical ways.
Yeah. Simple ways that add up over time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably using just 1 square of toilet paper.
Now,
at a time.
If I did that about an hour ago,
after the games,
I don't know how that would have gone. But Tim Hawkins does a very good bit about
we're
one,
same way.
One square of toilet paper. It's like, nah. But
no, dude.
Realistic way, a bidet.
A bidet.
Are you a bidet?
No.
Bidet?
I'm a debate. I'm a bedon't.
Bedon't.
This is not the bidet to be doing that.
Oh man.
I will never.
Have you tried the bidet?
I've never tried.
Okay.
Have you tried it?
I haven't tried it either. So we're both haters without trying.
Man of culture.
No, we are not men of culture.
Yes, we are.
The bidet.
I refuse. It's terrifying. I'm gonna admit it. I don't want that blasting.
We gotta try it at least once before we deny it.
That's true.
Similar to the dishwashing. You know, it's like water's saving us some resources, not taken down. I have started using bamboo toilet paper though.
Okay.
Better for the environment.
Okay, just more biodegradable, made from bamboo.
Made from bamboo. Bamboo's easier to grow, grows faster.
Okay.
Than trees. So that's actually a legit one way you could do it is change your supplier of toilet paper. But
okay.
I do know there are some people out there who used way too much toilet paper though. Like,
well, yeah.
Get like an infinity gauntlet worth.
Yeah,
of toilet paper on their hands.
I do.
No.
Not really.
That's why you're clogging all the toilets.
I didn't clog anything.
It wasn't me.
He's making stuff up right now. This never happened. What the heck? No, I don't know. I just I don't want to get near myself.
Yeah.
Like Tim Hawkins said, I do not want to get anywhere near myself.
I don't know where I've been.
I don't know where I've been.
It's great.
I know. Yeah, I'm
Fair
disgusting.
All right. So you didn't actually mean it. You just want to say,
maybe eventually we'll do that.
Energy is really important. Electrical energy. Since you said a funny one, I'll say a funny one. I think when you're driving, at most you flip your blinker switch 2 times. Just goes click click, going to the right, and then just merge. You're saving energy. You know what I'm saying? When do you need to turn on your blinker? Leslie gets on me all the time. She's like, just turn your blinker on early. I'm like, no, I got to save energy. Because when I don't want to move until I have to move. I don't want to signal until I have to signal. So I'm slaving energy.
I think
just don't use your blinker.
Just don't use it. Those crazy drivers are onto something. Just swerve over without any indication.
Saving energy.
Right. Okay, 2 blinks.
That'd be a good bumper sticker.
Blink twice if you need help. blink gets over. You know, I think you are definitely onto something there.
Yeah.
I think I'm also onto something though. But this, I think this could actually be done. People like the smell of rain.
I don't know where you're going with
and
this.
And therefore, we can shower in the rain, and we can smell good. And we're not.
You're saying instead of shower in the shower when it rains.
Shower when it rains.
Only
and if you live somewhere,
I guess that's applicable if you rain somewhere where you live.
If you rain somewhere where you live,
if it lives often where you rain.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. We're.
Okay. What about when it snows? Is that is that applicable?
Snow angels.
Just roll around in the snow.
What's that guy doing out there?
I do.
Yeah.
I do like the idea of conserving rain though. Like why don't we capture more rain? Just kind of flows in the ground. I know there's probably some reasons like
survival videos where you capture. Wait, isn't it illegal? I think to actually collect rain in Colorado. I think it's actually illegal to collect rain.
You have 2 hands. Why don't you Google it real quick?
I could.
Or no, you don't have a keyboard.
No, it's all right. I do now with the power of technology.
Oh. Yeah, Google if it's illegal. I actually don't know. But I feel like showering in the rain, simple enough.
Oh, okay.
Retreat.
I was wrong actually. So
it's like California, maybe.
Maybe somewhere else. Or maybe it was like changed at some point. But apparently you can collect up to 110 gallons per household in rain barrels.
How good is? Have you ever? I'm gonna do this. I'm actually going to do this next time it rains.
It's clean. Like, what's the
How good does it taste?
What's the downside? Yeah, how good does it taste? I feel like I've definitely done just that.
Yeah, and I feel like it's tasted pretty good.
Yeah, nothing wrong with it.
All right.
Like, it can't be dirty.
That's our challenge for you.
You just have to make
this
sure
week.
that
Please collect rain or snow.
Not dirty. Yeah.
Snow's got to taste fine too, as long as you catch it.
I've eaten snow, for sure.
Is there stuff
Especially
in the
the
air
yellow
that
kind.
snow catches onto that's not good? I don't know.
If there's yellow snow, is there yellow rain? Is that where the yellow snow comes from?
No, it's purple rain.
Oh, purple rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the toxic, the toxic acid rain coming down, barreling down on us, searing our skin.
All right. This is a simple one, but leftovers. I mean, I know it's just tough for some people. Are you a leftover person?
No.
No?
No.
I'm not really
Absolutely
either.
not.
That's why I've always at restaurants just never leave any leftovers. Like,
just eat all of it.
I have to eat it all, even if it's gonna hurt me really bad, because I'm not gonna eat the leftovers, and I'm trying not to be wasteful.
Yeah. Usually my solution is I've had to suck it up, more so in the past couple years, but one of my family members will eat it, and I always know that as a fact.
You know what? My niece said this last weekend.
Yeah.
She said everyone needs a human trash disposal in their life.
Yes, human garbage. Yeah.
Everyone needs one.
Exactly.
So
I agree with that.
not gonna call out names whose mine is. But every
I feel
family
like it's
has
compliment.
one.
It's a compliment.
It is.
I view it as like, I don't have to feel bad anymore about
taking it home, letting it sit in the fridge for a week, and then throwing it away. You have someone at home that you know is gonna enjoy it.
Yeah.
Or at least eat it and not ask any questions.
Exactly. And we have 2 in our house. My brother and my dad both.
Called out. Nice.
Yeah. No, they.
Thank you for your service.
Yes, it is good service. Doesn't go to waste.
Yeah.
Otherwise compost it. Compost the scraps, I guess.
There's a story in the Bible where Jesus takes 2 bread and 5 bread, 2 fish. Is that right? 5 loaves and 2 fishes.
Yeah, I'm trying to think because there's the 2.
There's like stories.
The 3,000, the 5. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if the amounts are different
and
for each.
created fed 5,000 people.
Yeah.
Funny enough, in the end of the story, there's leftovers, which I think is such an interesting story. And then what Jesus says is now gather the leftovers, but it doesn't say what he does with the leftovers.
Because, you would if you're thinking about it, why wouldn't he just create the exact amount? So that is an interesting.
This is an interesting biblical, but for the podcast, what do you think he did with the leftovers?
I mean, they couldn't
have taken it home and ate it for later.
Yeah, they could
put it in the air fryer. Put it in the microwave.
Jesus putting it in the air fryer.
I mean, let's just say it's all hypothetical. It could have happened.
Wait, who was? Who are the guys that are in the fire and then Jesus appears?
Shadrach, Meshach,
Okay, I was gonna say that I got scared.
Just threw it in the furnace.
So that's that back in the day air fryer right there. that's the
OG air fryer.
The OG air fryer. So he was going to that.
I think.
Yeah.
The real answer. I think he composted it.
He composted it.
I think you can make a biblical argument that Jesus took the leftovers and composted the leftovers.
Okay, so he was a carpenter and a gardener.
Absolutely.
You would say.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that checks out.
Cursing an olive tree or something. Doing. Yeah, he's involved in all sorts of plants.
Yeah.
In there.
Yes, he is.
Mustard seeds.
Trees of life and all the sorts.
Yeah,
so that's what I think Jesus did. That's why I think leftovers. What else you got?
I feel like a little Black Mirror-esque idea.
Okay. Just watch that latest season.
New season.
Very good.
Pretty good. Pretty.
Still always dark as always.
Kind of gets you.
Yeah.
One in particular that I'm referencing that I won't spoil. Human-powered phone.
I'm listening.
Human-powered phone. So we have, electrical signals in our brain and just electricity and we can use that. We can harness that to power the phone.
Sounds like a great idea that could potentially go very wrong.
You do not want to run out of battery. I'll tell you that.
So instead of using energy to charge our phones every day, we just eat and rest and use our own energy to power our phones. I feel like that's a similar like sci-fi idea of like the future computers won't be computers, but will be like tapped into human consciousness or something like that.
Yeah, like all the calculations that are happening.
Right, like using our synapses.
Weird.
Yeah, that's an interesting concept, but it'd make people a lot less likely to definitely use your phone less. If you knew that I was wasting my energy to power a phone, like you'd be efficient about it, rather than being like, oh, I'll just plug it in and waste hours scrolling on TikTok. If it took you mental energy to watch
it's literally
TikTok,
draining you. Like TikTok is now literally draining. It already is, but
we already are using our energy to watch it. Now might as well just recycle, reduce, reuse.
Might as well. Let's keep recycling that joke.
You know, it reminds
dang it. Let's keep reusing that joke.
No, let's keep recycling it. It reminds me of the iPod Human for some reason, of that old YouTube video of the iPod Human.
that is a throwback.
That's what we're becoming.
It predicted the future right there.
going
That's
to
be the actual reality.
I mean, there's definitely some scary things in future reality that might come to pass. So. Yeah. Also related to food is restaurants. I mean, I alluded to this earlier, but when I was working at the Alfred Packer Grill in college, the amount of food that would go to compost was just really disheartening. And I understand, like I looked into it, there's rules, like you can't, certain amount of food you can't go give to homeless because of transport costs and all sorts of things and safety but there was some amount of food that we could give.
Spoiling.
But even then, like all the stuff that was in the leftover, like Chipotle, when Chipotle closes, everything that's there, that's all done. So I'm thinking you implement like the opposite of VIP experience.
Okay.
For restaurants. It's like a vulture system. You can call it vulture. Vulture
in
restaurants. So you sign up for, or restaurants have these openings for like last call meals.
Bottom
so whatever
of the barrel.
leftovers, but you just line up at a discounted price. So there's there's still some profit in it.
Yep.
But you're saving the leftovers. Boom.
I feel like that's giving me flashbacks to the book we just read as well, with the vultures and that, which is a much different direction.
Yeah.
Involving cannibalism. But I actually feel like that would be a good deal. That would benefit everybody. A little symbiotic relationship there.
And the food quality is still good, because another reason companies don't do that is because it feels like if you wait, kind of like leftover culture, if you wait too long, it's bad quality and you're not going to have a good association with the company. But if it's like just closed, you throw everything into a giant, food, you just kind of show up with a plate and you get whatever's left over and that's it.
I feel like
it's still going to be good. It's just going to help clean up and feed more people. And surprisingly, there's not a lot of laws against it. So, that's my idea.
Well, because when my brother used to work at Panera, he would bring a bunch of stuff back.
Right.
Like a lot, like every week. And I was like, this is great.
Yeah.
And it's like, that is so much that is going to waste.
Yeah.
That literally, paid system. Or even just like give it away for free. Like those types of things that they had there, you could make it last for a few days. So even if it's not like, maybe even if the transportation costs aren't great, like one car, one driver, think of a DoorDash order from Panera to downtown to give to homeless people.
Yeah.
And that's like not that much. And then you're polluting with the car on the way. It's impossible. There's always a trade-off.
Yeah.
Polluting with the car. But I do think they should give it away, or at least let the employees take as much as they want.
I always thought if I had to start a restaurant, right, really lean into that somehow and make it work, especially because there's companies out there willing to do it.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like you could do a full-on like self-sustaining water cycle. So kind of dune stealing.
Okay.
From there, because their suits
basically
filter
sweats.
everything. So it's not weird in Dune. So I'm not the weird one here. Sweat, pee.
Yeah.
Pee.
I mean, I was having this conversation earlier about the space station and like how space cadets stay alive. Like, it's just the way it is. And if you don't think too hard about it, I mean, any water was somewhere terrible. Any water molecule at some point in the past billions of years was somewhere unthinkable.
Don't say it like that.
It's true though.
I already hate water enough.
Yeah, and now I'm never drinking water.
I don't drink water already.
No, I think it's good. You wrote down on here a Brita filter.
A Brita filter pee test.
Oh.
Would you risk that?
Nah.
That challenge.
No, I don't want to know. Ignorance is bliss in this society.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I don't know. Like if things were really desperate and I was like trapped in the woods or something and I had my life straw, the life straws.
Yeah.
And you
had to.
The only water source is your pee.
Yeah.
I've used that life straw for disgusting things before.
You?
And I'll
you
do
have
it
used
again.
it?
Do you want to? I'm gonna tell you this right now
man.
on air.
It's on air.
On
Say
air.
it.
It's live.
What have you used it?
So I went on a backpacking trip one time, and I had the life straw, and we ran out of water. We brought a ton of plastic water bottles, which was bad thing number one.
Yeah.
We had like 20 plastic water bottles, which sounds like a lot, but we went through it so fast.
Yeah, right.
And we're like, we don't have anything left to cook our food. So I had the life straw. I didn't have one of the more fancier pump ones.
Okay.
So what I had to do for clean water for our food, is suck it out of the life straw and then spit it out into water bottles. And then we boiled that water, and then me and my friend used that for
the pump.
our
You wouldn't have to put it in
macaroni.
your mouth, but you had to put it in your
own
mouth.
Yeah, the pump would go.
So
I literally
and then out
filtered it and then used my mouth and spit it out. And I collected like 2 bottles that way. And then we both we boiled it.
Yeah, you boiled it. It was safe, but
and it was filtered, so
woo. Dang, good for
less
you.
disgusting for me, but
that must have taken you a little bit.
It was. That's never gonna happen again.
That's a great story, though.
It's a good story.
Nasty.
So, desperate times call for desperate measures.
Yes.
So the pee idea doesn't sound as bad now.
No. I mean, hopefully you wouldn't have to
life straw
do that method for
boiled pea water for macaroni.
All right, now I think someone just threw up a little bit in their mouth listening to this.
Okay.
So I'm gonna give my last idea before we get to our last segment. I really just think there's too much stuff. I mean, one, there's a lot of people in this world, so I get it. But I was at this thought came to me when I was at a 5K race the other week, and they made medals for everyone that completed the 5K, and it was like thousands of medals.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought to myself when in that moment, like, think about all the medals created today around the world for races alone. How much material, how much energy, and I'm like, we just are obsessed with stuff. I think about all the Temu websites, all the stuff that's out there. I'm just like,
low quality stuff that breaks immediately.
Our brains cannot comprehend how much material stuff there is in this world. That's pretty useless. And just stacking up stuff. I say stuff a lot, but it's just so much stuff.
It is a lot of stuff. Yeah.
I am pro minimalistic tendencies.
I would agree.
I don't know how good of a job I do, but as I get older, I'm hoping I lean that way and don't lean the more hoard mentality of getting stuff. I'm really into like cycling books and cycling anything that you have. I mean, clothes are kind of iffy, but I don't know.
So I mean, like thrift stores for clothing or even like discount.
Yeah.
Reused clothing. And then just anything reusable, I guess, instead of plastic is good. I think a lot of people like have water bottles, like their own reusable that they use for the most part.
I'm pretty bad about my mom was huge and probably is still. She is still a big plastic water bottle user. I mean, just chronic plastic water bottle, and that did flow to my habits.
Yeah.
I always have a case in my room of plastic water bottles, like just in case, like when I need it. So there is some use for it, but I don't know. As I wrap up this podcast, from my perspective, really the reduce, reuse, recycle, as rote as it is, really is like should be continually in our heads. Like reduce the stuff you use, reuse as much as you can, and recycle.
Yeah.
Recycle.
I do have one last.
Easy peasy. Yeah. Go
probably the best idea out of all of these.
I can't wait.
Don't judge me. Directly feed the compost container with going to the bathroom in it.
And now someone actually did just throw
taking a dump in the compost bin in public.
I don't know where our poo goes. To the ocean, as Finding Nemo would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, it should go somewhere used to use. That'd be
useful.
That's what I'd want
to be useful
for my waste.
Yeah, which
to be useful.
It's got to be vegan though.
You got to be vegan. So here's the lesson: go vegan and dump in a compost trash bin. All right.
Yes.
I'm gonna hit some good news, bad news real quick, and then we're gonna do our last segment. Some bad news. Let's start with the bad news. I feel like it's
get that out of the way.
We got the villain. We got
get
the
it out of the way.
Bad news. Me and Sam are going on a cruise, and we learned this very unfortunate fact that 47 cruise ships pollute the same amount as 100 million cars.
That is
which is bonkers.
One of the most insane facts that I've heard of.
This might be the last cruise I go on because of this fact. It just makes it really sad.
Might be.
But each ship is 2 million cars worth.
Yeah, because you think
when
you think about pollution, that's the thing you think of is cars.
Cars suck.
It's that's the thing I can do.
No, it's cruise ships.
It's just cruise ships
and probably other types of ships and planes and things. But alone, that many cruise ships, that's insane.
100 million. That's got to be. Yeah, that's like multiple countries worth of people.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. That is bad news.
Microplastics. Very bad. We were told a lot that this has to be taken care of. They take up, as of right now, 0.5% of our brain weight alone. Inside of our brains, there's that many microplastics. Yeah. But if you combined all the microplastics that we build over the next 80 years, if everything stays constant, we're going to have about 4 grams to 80 grams worth of plastic inside of our bodies.
Yes. Which is
sounds like a lot. And guess what? It kind of is a lot because when you put it all together into a ball, it's about the size of a cherry golf ball size. Yeah.
And I'm thinking about that being inside my head.
Like a golf ball plastic
just
inside
a golf
your head.
Ball tumor. Plastic tumor.
First the lead, now the plastic. We are just getting dumber
plastic,
not good.
Also with plastic, 78% of marine mammals are just at risk of choking on plastic. So basically none of them are safe.
Yeah,
they're all
at risk,
constantly in danger of swallowing straws.
Yeah, the plastic
and dying.
Not great. Not a great. Who invented plastic?
Yeah,
that's who we should have put on. That
yeah,
guy.
who's the inventor of plastic?
Probably.
There's a whole rabbit hole that I went down with how plastic, most of it, 80% of it is not recyclable or recycled.
Yeah,
and then the recycle symbols on there aren't even recycle symbols.
There's symbols that
were
look like
literally
recycle
concocted to make you think they were recycle symbols.
That's crazy.
There's a whole
that's pretty bad.
Literally just look it up. I mean, it's one of those things where you kind of hear about it. A lot of recycling just goes to landfill.
Yeah.
But it's that's true. We should still recycling is still good because some of it does still get reused. Right. But
I mean,
a lot that's
I was thinking, we could just get it over with if we could just eat a plastic golf ball right now. We don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Swallowing, we would be the ones choking on plastic.
We induce ourselves.
Swallow a full golf ball.
Take one for the team.
I could swallow a cherry whole.
Yeah.
Plastic-sized cherry.
Yeah.
I don't think I can swallow a golf ball.
Yeah, plastic just it's nasty.
A golf ball.
All right. Other facts you put on here: the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. That's in the ocean.
Makes it sound like
right?
a good thing. Yeah. It's just a massive. It's a massive.
Great Pacific Garbage Patch.
Whoa, so
Sour
cool.
Patch Kids, yummy.
Sour Patch Kids. Yeah, basically just a huge floating trash pile that has collected in the ocean that is the size of 2 Texases.
That's crazy.
The Pacific Ocean. Yeah.
I mean, I was going to bring it up, but the space junk, you heard of space junk being a big
problem?
Bunch of space junk, 9,000 metric tons of junk. in the sky from blowing up stuff and satellites.
It's everywhere. It's literally spread out through everything. It's spreading out through the ocean.
It's only going to go
Litter
worse
spreading out.
It's
in our brains and bodies and microplastics. It's in space.
Okay, Sam, you're really starting to depress everyone. I think we need some good news. Give me some good news.
Okay, good news. Good news. Boulder. Shout out Boulder again.
Boulder is doing some
They're doing some good stuff. They have a few cool goals for like the next decade or so. So goal by 2030 is to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions by 70% from what it was in 2018. So cut that down, which feels pretty significant. So, 5 years, we'll see if that actually happens. And then to have net zero carbon emissions by 2035. So we got a decade for that.
Okay.
And then become carbon positive. So then start having more things that, I guess trees and more things like that absorb more gases than the entire city produces. Carbon positive by 2040.
Carbon positive.
Carbon positive.
Kind of like carbon negative.
Carbon, yeah, you would think.
I don't know.
It would mean.
Positive.
It sounds like it's adding carbon, but.
It's just positive.
Positive.
Good carbon.
Good. Carbon good.
Carbon goodness.
Boulder will be carbon good by 2040.
2040. Excellent.
So we'll see. We'll see how much, but they're like definitely one of the people leading the charge. I feel like Boulder has some notoriety and with a lot of people look at it. I mean, the Boulder is coming up. Tons of people there for that. So
yep.
I feel like it actually could catch more ground.
Yeah.
If they're paving the way.
They are. They're doing good things. As much as I trash on Boulder sometimes, or as much as I landfill on Boulder sometimes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
For being
some other good news. The ozone layer is actually healing.
That's good to hear.
It's actually going in the right direction.
How is it being healed?
I don't know. What do you mean?
Like therapy?
Oh. Like our sponsor, BetterHelp.
BetterHelp
the ozone.
Repairing the ozone layer.
One therapeutic session
Use
at a
the
time.
discount code ozone for
0%.
I don't know
the ozone layer
how it's repairing, but that's pretty cool.
Listen, the ozone had some childhood trauma.
Yeah, it's working through it.
It's working through some
those
things.
Holes. Those scars that it had.
We're filling it up.
Yeah.
With good vibes.
And carbon.
Good and less positive carbon.
Good carbon.
Good
carbon good.
Carbon good. Carbon good. Other good news. A lot of countries, list them off. Albania, Bhutan, Nepal, Paraguay, Iceland, Ethiopia, and the Democratic Republic of Congo are generating 100% more renewable energy.
Yeah, they're apparently just fully... I didn't fact check this too much, but like it looked they're pretty legit.
They're generating a lot.
100%.
Renewable energy is actually catching on.
Relying on it.
Now that we're catching up with the technology, it's working out pretty well. Wind, solar, does nuclear count as renewable? Are we counting that?
Yeah,
I think so.
I feel like it's clean.
Yeah, cleaner.
Like the waste amount is not as bad as the fossil fuels and things like that.
So things are good. Not all bad news from here. So I feel we just has a lot of heavy topics. It's now dark. Let's have a little fun to finish up.
Okay.
Little eco would you rather.
Eco would you rather.
All right. Start off close to home. Would you rather go vegan for your whole life or only use public transportation for the rest of your life?
Okay, I'll go first.
Shufflers, answer this as well in your head.
Because you did have the vegan experience.
I did.
For a bit. That would be tough. The thing with public transportation is that, as we discussed, it's just doesn't exist as much here. It's super hard.
Yep.
I know you're going to say, no, Uber doesn't count as public transportation.
I'll say if you do a shared Uber, like if you do a
Uber
share ride,
the ride
version, I'll count that as public.
Okay, I'll do that. Yeah, I'm in a public. That is a public place. There are certain things I cannot do in that car.
Yep.
That would be acceptable.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like I would only use public transportation.
Yeah, not go vegan.
It would be tough.
Yeah. For the rest of my life. Oh, I mean, it's really tough. I think if I had to do the second option, if I had to go public transportation, I'd move. I'd get out of Denver and go to a city or go to Europe or something like that. But if I had to keep my same life, or relatively same life, and not upend anything, I think going vegan would be the right decision.
Realistically, it might be the force to do that. Or even, it just won't even be possible. You just have to bike everywhere.
Yeah. I guess it's not public transportation, but it's
I feel like
energy
it'd be
neutral.
allowed. It would be allowed.
It's in our world. It's allowed.
With my motorbike. Okay. Would you rather eat food grown within 10 miles or never use the internet? Lowering that electricity bill or
eat food within 10 miles. Is that right now, like only food within 10 miles here, or move to a farm?
Well, if the zone, if the zone changes,
or just like one zone.
Yeah.
Never the.
So are we saying even a speck of salt that's imported from somewhere else?
Man.
If that's on your food, it's void. Can't do it.
I think I'd go never use the internet again. Actually.
Oh, that would be
within 10 miles.
That would be tough.
You'd have to live in a really, really good place.
Yeah. Counterpoint: you become self-sustaining with your food growth.
Yeah.
And then
no, the internet hasn't been around that long.
Food grown within.
There's so much good food.
So plants and animals.
All food, plants, animals.
So you'd have to become a
sauces, everything. Within 10 miles? No way. Got it. Goodbye internet.
The rest of your life you would be a farmer chef. That would be it.
Yeah, no, internet's
That'd
gone.
Be it. You would die.
Yeah. Nothing.
Okay. And then if you had a famine, you would just.
Yeah, no.
You would
die. Yeah, so the internet's
gone.
Sorry,
I mean,
that's a tough one, but
as tough as that would be, TikTok has been banned for
TikTok's the first thing that comes to mind.
Personally banned. Yeah.
All right. Would you rather hug every tree you pass? Not pass. Every tree that you see.
Okay, every tree that I see.
So you can close your eyes and not hug the tree if you want.
Yeah.
Or apologize to every squirrel you see for the way the environment's going.
Yeah. I was thinking of like
I'm talking like full apology, not just I'm sorry, but like I'd like to really resonate with.
In my head, this is like, are there more doors or wheels on Earth? But I feel like this one, there are definitely less squirrels.
Definitely less squirrels.
But yeah, if you got to give them a pretty heartfelt monologue, you got to do the squirrels though. You just got to avoid them. You just got to own cats, and then hope you don't.
And at least you get to talk to the squirrels. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, you get a random superpower.
And what if the mountain I'm looking at right now, like that is 1 million trees? Do I have to like hug every tree?
Yeah, you do see them.
It's unrealistic.
You see them.
So
yeah, no, that one.
She gone.
Yes. Okay. Would you rather only be able to use cold water for everything?
Oh no.
Showers, washing your hands, all that.
No way.
Or never have air conditioning. And if that's too easy, then also think about it, just no heating as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, I could do
no heating or cooling.
I could do the no AC, but no heating in the winter.
Yeah. Depending on where you live, though.
But
you
there's
could also
hot
move
water?
Again. There's hot water.
Yeah, no, I tried to give up cold water showers, or tried to give up hot showers and tried cold showers. Lasted 2 days. I thought I was going to be strong. Y'all, I was not.
It's tough. Well,
my will was
the
weak.
thing is, I feel like if you get past the week mark, I did it for like 20 days in a row. It was like my longest streak ever.
Yeah.
I hate cold showers.
Yeah.
You actually do get used to it.
Okay.
After a week, and then you're like, okay, this actually feels good now. There's a lot of benefits, apparently. Yeah. To get started, though, it's so
I mean, to me, cold showers, well, the time I tried was 2 months ago, and I would not shower. I'd turn on the cold water. I'd put my hand in. I'd be like, no. And for like 3 days straight, I was like, I tried to psych myself up. I just couldn't do it. But the lesson I learned is that if you want to take a cold shower, just work out really hard before you take a cold shower.
Yes.
Well, then the cold shower is not so scary, and you're just like, oh, I'm burning up already. I'll take a cold shower. So
it's like an ice bath.
That's how it's done. What was the other option? No heating or
the
cooling?
air conditioning and heating.
every building I've ever been in, pretty much, thankfully, in the United States.
Yeah, if you walk in though, if you walk into a building, it breaks. Like the system breaks.
Yeah, I know. So
the system breaks.
I think, as much as I hate cold showers, heating and cooling is just unrealistic to live without compared to just giving up a hot shower every day. So
yeah,
I guess I'll do cold showers as much as I hate to.
Yeah, I'm giving up heating and cooling.
Yeah.
I mean I'm used to the no AC.
Have to move.
Have to move a little. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Remember when we had remember our freeze of 2021?
2021. Yeah.
Our heater broke. And
we
had to walk around our own home.
That sucked.
Blankets, 3 layers, and we're just like breathing the cold air.
Yeah.
That was fun.
It's survivable.
It is. But it was funny.
That means no mini heaters though too. That'd be tough.
You're sucking.
Sleeping would suck the most.
All right, last one. Last thing of the day. Would you rather have personal access to solar power? So whatever solar power.
Okay.
Let's just say unlimited access to solar power. So you use solar power for anything.
Yes.
But you have to always be wearing sunscreen.
Okay.
Or have unlimited access to wind power, but always wear a propeller hat.
So if I'm already wearing sunscreen because of Thomas Midgley,
the sunscreen
Jr.
is also just like the pasty white. Like
it's
there's
the
always,
pasty. I can't rub it in.
You're not gonna be you can rub in a little bit, but like there's always splotches of white sunscreen on your face. So you're not just putting on sunscreen, getting away with it. You're like visibly have white sunscreen on you, or wind energy. Really, the question is, would you rather walk around with sunscreen on you the entire time, like visible sunscreen, or like one of those propeller hats that's like rainbow colored and has a propeller on top?
I would be relentlessly bullied either way, and my life would be horrible. So,
but you have unlimited access to energy.
I have unlimited access to energy.
This is good. Like you could use your solar energy power to charge your phone or whatever.
Yeah. Like solar power is cooler to me in general.
Yeah.
So could I get lucky and I get one of the splotches like under my clothing?
No, every day it's like a different time.
It's a visible place.
Your mom put on sunscreen and just like
didn't rub it on.
Didn't rub it on enough.
Oh my gosh.
Every day. Or propeller hat.
Or become propeller hat boy. That one. Can I design the hat?
No, it's you know exactly what kind of propeller hat.
No. Okay, so it looks exactly like those ones.
I'll put a picture on for everyone on the watching video, but yeah, it's like literally just this.
I would do that.
Yeah,
I would do that. I could not do the sunscreen. Full caked on sunscreen, dude. Stuck in all my hair.
Yeah, that's not a vibe.
No way.
That's not cool. And it's sticky and it's greasy.
Yeah, every handshake, every hug. But you can't hug people anymore.
Man, you're gonna be propeller hat guy, and that's just. But you're gonna be sunscreen guy.
You're gonna be sunscreen Sam for the rest of your life. It's already bad enough being just
Sam sunscreen.
Sunscreen Sam.
Dang, that would have been you.
Yeah. It could be.
All right, so what if it's rubbed in?
It's rubbing in, doing that for sure.
Okay,
but doing that, using the
little
nicely
white on your
scented.
Nose.
Yeah, if I'm like lifeguard, that could be doable. That could be doable as well. I could be convinced.
Propeller.
Propeller hat. Yeah. You would get
right.
a lot of compliments. I bet you would get a lot of compliments.
You'd hope so.
You'd get some. You get made fun of, but you'd get some compliments for sure.
Yeah.
Be a talking point. So maybe it'd work out.
All right. Well, I think we did it.
I think
we.
Is that the air quality?
The air is cleaner.
A little better. Grass is greener on the other
the
side.
The LEDs are shining extra brightly today.
LEDs.
Those are not
UV
LEDs.
rays. the UV rays are gone. The sun is gone.
The marine animals are
no more solar
speaking
power
and singing joyous. Yep. We solved it. We solved.
Yes, we did.
Global warming.
My pod.
This is going viral.
This
is absolutely going to go
this
viral.
Yes. Do your own research, everybody. We
yeah, fact
will
check
not
us as
fact
always.
check ourselves.
Yeah.
Unless we do a fact check episode, but hopefully you actually learn a couple things.
Yeah.
I learned a decent amount. I actually am semi-interested. I feel like I've been pleasantly surprised by the poetry episode and this episode, where there are some interesting outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
I might try to do a self-sustaining garden, self-watering garden.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not, but maybe I will. Maybe I'll have a little composter.
Yeah. We're going to try it
bin
out.
up there.
We're going to get older,
see.
wiser, and remember, everyone, April 22nd, Earth Day. Because guess what?
Earth Day.
I'm guessing most of you forgot April 22nd was Earth Day until you listen to this. So next year,
Embarrassing.
do better.
Wow.
And with that, thank you for listening to this episode of My
you.
Pod Shuffle.
Until next time.
Roll it. Goodbye. So how are you going to celebrate tomorrow?
I'm gonna have a leaded gasoline bonfire.
I'm gonna get on my
Burn
old refrigerator.
Yeah, my
stick
own
my head in it.
Freon refrigerator and just inhale that.
Get a few turtles, put them in a...
Put them in a... Oh, jeez. Put some straws in an aquarium. That's so
bad.
mean. Cut it.
Don't do
Cut it
that.
out. End it.
Don't do that.
End it.